Alright, here we go, you guys. The moment you guys have been waiting for, a game of me playing StarCraft. Oh my god, and I will tell you right now, I play so terribly this game. Spoiler alert, I do win this game. I will tell you, I win this game, but I really shouldn't have, and you will see why very shortly. There's me with the GLHF, always gotta be well-mannered in games no matter what. Always say GG at the end of a game, no matter what. I'm very like super strict about it. Even the games where I get ridiculously mad and pissed off because my opponent like cheesed me or whatever, I'll still just be like GG, and then I'll just like quit, and then I'll just be mad at myself for a while. Because I always know, anytime you lose a match, don't think about when you lose a match, don't think about it's because they did some cheesy thing. They 2-raxed me, you know? Think about it as, you know what? No, I should be able to hold off 2-raxes. Like, a 2-rax is done all the time. I should be able to hold off a 2-rax. If he 2-raxed me and I died, that is my fault, and next time, I'm going to try to fix my own play so that I don't die to that 2-rax. So, jumping into this game, spawning here in the bottom right position of Antiga Shipyards as the blue Zerg, we've got GetGlitched, which is gonna be me. No gas yet taken for me, as I am gonna be going for a fast expand as I commonly do against Terran. My opponent today is going to be Paradox, the red Terran, spawning in the top right position of Antiga Shipyards, and he is going to be taking a fairly quick gas there before barracks. So he is going to be going for some kind of tech, and what exactly is he going to be going for? We are going to see very shortly. And oh my god, yes, I do remember this. That actually made me really annoyed. That actually like really bothered me. The fact that I wanted to throw down this hatchery, but this Automaton 2000 was actually in the way, and I actually had to wait for it to move before it would let me throw down the hatchery. Blizzard, fix that, because that was actually bad. That actually messed up my timing, and I had to wait up by like 50 minerals to actually be able to throw down that hatchery for that damn Automaton to move. Now I am going to be following that up with a spawning pool, going to be getting that spawning pool up. I generally take my gas very late. I'm a generally defensive player. I like to play defensive and defend against early attacks and then push back with a big macro if I can. That's exactly what I'm going to be trying to go for in this game, but I am going to get a little bit disrupted, and I'm going to get a little bit frustrated in this game, as we are going to see. Going to be speeding this one up a little bit because it is a little bit longer of a game. It does go on for a little bit longer than it really should. There were points in the game where he really should have just came and killed me, and vice versa. But should be an exciting game nonetheless. Now, Paradox is going to be throwing down a fast reactor here, as he does now have a factory up. He's going to be swapping that up, and yes, of course, we are going to see some Hellions popping off here for Paradox, and he's going to be going for some very early Hellion harass. I still have taken no gas yet, no gas at all, just got up my 2 queens. Spinecrawler now coming up as well. Want to be just a little bit defensive because I don't have too much information, yet I did get an Overlord into his base, scouted his position immediately, and now I'm sending that Overlord in just because I'm a little bit curious about what he's going to be doing, because I don't know anything at all about what he's doing. Wasn't able to get a drone into his base, don't know about how much gas he has right now or anything, so I am poking in right now, and I don't know if I actually saw that reactor. No, I don't think I saw that factory go down at all, but now I'm getting out of there just because I know that that Marine is going to be on the way here very shortly, and there it is now, the Marine starting to take down that Overlord as I get out of there, but I am placing another Overlord in position to send into his base. Now, right now, I'm still just in purely drone production mode. My second base is now up, and I just now passed him up in the harvester count, 27 to 23 harvesters, but the Hellions are now out on the field. 2 are up at the present, but we are about to have 2 more, and now I'm sending a Ling to the front of his base. As a Zerg player, you want to be using those early Lings to get up a lot of good scouting information. I've got one on the Zelnaga tower, the other one to the front of his base, and I just now spot that Hellion, and instantly my reaction is to throw down 2 evolution chambers. I want to restrict motion as much as possible. Don't want those slipping up into my main. Want to also try to block this off. I always try to block off as many of these little holes as I can. As you can see, I'm throwing down a Spinecrawler in my main, and I'm actually going to be throwing down a second one over here as well to prevent them from going around that way. But these 4 Hellions are now getting to the front of my base. Evolution chambers are now going to be popping up there to deny that motion. Second Spinecrawler now going down. Lings, notice that where I placed those Lings. I placed them over here because I wanted them to block that position. Those Lings are not there to do damage. They're there to block those Hellions while I let these spine crawlers do the damage. That's my thing with Hellions, is let the spine crawlers do the damage, use lings and queens and even drones if I have to hold them in position. But as we're about to see, it is about to not work out so hot for me. So there we go, Hellions now moving forward, trying to do some damage. I have now pulled my queens down here because this one queen is getting very low. Pulled down my other queen to come defend. I usually get up a fast third queen to start spreading creep. So as we can see, I do have 3 queens up right now, but notice on the production tab, I'm still just producing nothing but drones. Nothing but drones. I'm feeling very confident right now. I'm walled off pretty well here. Got these 3 spines in position. I thought, you know what, he's not going to try to get past this. I think I'll be alright. Throwing down a spore because I haven't actually scouted in a while. I actually should have scouted a little bit earlier. Usually good to scout around the 6-minute and 30 mark just to see what kind of tech he's going for. That's usually a pretty good timing to scout and see what your opponent is doing. But I'm actually throwing down spores because just because I haven't scouted into his base, he could still be going for Banshees. If we do look into his base, he actually is going to be going for Banshees with Cloak. Second starport being thrown up as well as a command center. So he's going to be taking an expansion here very soon. Second factory going down as a lot more Hellions now start to move out across the map, and he's going to be able to come in with a lot of Hellions right now. And I actually made an interesting decision here that was probably not the best decision in the world. Looking back on it, I'm starting my lair tech right now, still producing nothing but drones. Lots and lots of drones on the production tab. I see Hellions and I say, you know what, no, I'm still going to produce workers because I'm going to rely on spines and queens to really be able to defend. I should be able to defend, and I decide to uproot my spine crawlers and move them out just as all the Hellions move in, now attacking with drones to try to keep them in range of these spine crawlers. But I lost so many drones, 16 workers killed so far, and now 3 Hellions are going to get up into the main, start roasting drones there. I wanted to block them from going off as the lings come in and deal damage from the back, but man, the Hellion managed to pick up so many more kills. 25 workers killed so far, and what is my response right now? Holy crap, I lost a lot of workers, but what do I need to do? I need to keep injecting. I'm going to throw down a Roach Warren because I said, oh my god, he's really committing to these Hellions, and tons more drones, 10 more drones on the production tab. As we can see, despite losing 25 drones, I'm still not down by that many. Just because I know to do all that early aggression, he's on 1 base, and there's not really, he can't really have up that much of an economy. So right now, even though he lost all, even though he did all that damage, he lost all those Hellions, and now I should be doing nothing but producing lots and lots and lots and lots of drones and getting up my tech. But now the Banshees are in my base, and now I'm going to start to freak out just a little bit. But I said, you know what, I need to do some more damage to my opponent right now, so just sent a bunch of links to my opponent's natural base to scout, and upon seeing that there's actually no base there, gonna start to produce a lot of Banelings up there and try to go for some kind of big Baneling bust, just because I know all of his gas, or all of his minerals went into those Hellions, and now I know that all of his gas went into getting these Banshees up. So he's not going to have a whole lot of Marines or siege tanks up at his front right now, and we can see that that is exactly the case right now. Right now I'm moving my queens in position to try to deal with these Banshees, but they are cloaked, and I actually cannot see them. Nice transfuse going down there by me, able to save that queen, but I have no detection right now. Need to start getting an Overseer right away. Should have started getting it a lot earlier. More queens are being produced at both bases. Lots of spores going up in the main. Trying to get up another in the natural, but losing so many more drones. Already 33 drones lost. More Banshees continuing to be rallied in right now. And finally, I'm deciding, you know what, I need to do some damage here very, very soon. Definitely not the best control from me, though, as I definitely should have been getting up more spores, more queens. Should have been doing a little bit more attention here. But now here come my Banelings as I move up. I started to focus down a supply depot, but saw, you know what, he left his supply depot completely open. So I'm going to go directly for the mineral line. He is going to be pulling these workers off the line, but he's going to be pulling back to his main as I stream in with all these Zergs. He's going to be trying to get us around on all of these Marines, and here come all the Banelings as I get so many worker kills right there. Absolutely critical, as I've now cut down his worker count and gave him, he lost his attention enough on these Banshees to actually lose a lot of his Hellions and cut this last, or these Banshees rather, and this last Banshee was cut to very low health, and that was exactly the kind of damage that I needed to do. As you can see, we are now just about even in Harvester count, but I am of course on 2 base, and he is still just on 1. So I have now done some good economic damage, and I'm feeling very confident. But I know that now I've done a lot of damage. I need to keep applying that pressure. Gonna try to keep going for more pressure, rallying more lings into his base right now, as this Banshee is gonna start to focus down this Roach Warren. I decided I should just leave that Roach Warren up, because I decided it can't be that big of a deal to lose the Roach Warren, because at this point I'm not gonna be getting those Hellions out. So I'm continuing to produce lots of drones. More queens are on the production tab right now. Roach Warren is going to go down here, and this Overseer is going to be keeping an eye on that Banshee. And looks like now queens are now up. I'm continuing to try to get those drones up, trying to keep up with that economic lead, and as you can see, I have a slight economic lead right now, 24 harvesters to 24 harvesters, but of course I am on 2 bases, and I did deny this orbital command for going down for just a little while with these Zerglings, and he's now going to have to get up some more forces before he can take that natural expansion. But as we can see, he has now gotten down an armory and started Thor production here. I have not yet seen these, and I don't know yet about this Thor production, or do I? Oh, I do actually know about that. With those lings that ran up into the base, I did actually see that armory that went down, saw that factory with the tech lab, so I do know that this is coming down. Blue Flame is now being researched here by Paradox, and he's now going to start to go into mass Thor production. And at this point, I started to get just a little bit worried, but I said, you know what? I need to continue to apply pressure to my opponent, so I'm going to be throwing down the Spire. I knew that this Banshee was still back here, so I placed my Spire up here in this forward position where he's not going to be as likely to scout it. And as we can see, he is not going to be able to scout it quite as much, and I did try to move into with these lings, trying to maintain some map control. Knew I couldn't take my own third here just because he had those Banshees out on the map, and he could still be going for Banshees, and since this base is in such close by air positions, I decided, you know what, I need to go for another expansion. This one's going to be kind of obvious and hard to defend, as I'm going to need to move all the way out around this part of the map to get here, so I decided to take a secret expansion up here in this top left position where he is not likely to scout. In the meantime, mutas are now on the way. My gas was starting to get really, really high at this point in the game, and I'm now going to be throwing down a lot of spines because I'm kind of worried about more Hellions coming in, because I saw that big factory count, saw that he was going for a lot of mech, and I'm kind of worried about those Hellions, so I started to get a lot of spine crawlers up at my natural, wanted to completely constrict motion of any Hellions just in case there's any Hellion run-bys here into my main expansion, but now the Mutalisks are up. Now, my thinking at this point in time was pretty much my Mutalisks, I'm going to try to get them up to try to get some map control, try to keep pressure on my opponent so that he's not attacking me. That's what I wanted right now, is for my opponent to not be attacking me, and I actually move up into this position and find 2 Banshees actually out here all by themselves. Managed to pick off one of them. Second one does manage to cloak in time, but now I'm going to be moving up into the main, and for the first time I'm going to see that the Thor count here is getting really, really high here for Paradox, and for the first time I started to get really, really worried that Mutaling is really not going to do it for me. I do still have a lot of mutas on the way right now, however, so I'm going to try to use them to the best of my ability. Natural expansion now up here for myself. Mutas now out on the field. Looks like if we check out the unit counting station, we can see that currently about 15 mutas up, and that's about the number I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for about 16 mutas. That to me is like the good harass number of mutas to have. You want to have about 16 out, and looks like one Banshee now going to be harassing my Spire. Not going to be able to do too much damage, as I do still have this Overseer around in my base, and I'm pulling those mutas back now because I really wanted to be sure that I picked off that Banshee. This third expansion just now getting up here, gonna start to pay off for me here very soon, but these mutas still not moving out, still getting a lot of harvesters, but as we can see, I'm now throwing down the Roach Warren and starting to get missile attack upgrades. Why? Because I'm worried about those Thors right now. I'm really, really worried about having those Thors up in my face, so I want to be getting a lot of Roach production up right now, using these mutas to keep my opponent contained. If my opponent moves out, I'm going to move in with these mutas and start to deal some really heavy economic damage, so I really want to make sure that he cannot move out at all. And amazingly, Paradox actually manages to scan my base here and decides to go for it, and I actually saw the scan go down, so I moved my mutas in because I knew that he would try to move up to attack, so I moved my mutas into position to attack these Hellions and intercept them on the way. And as we can see, I'm going to be able to clean those Hellions up pretty easily, but now I know that he knows about this base, and I'm going to have to be very careful, and I really want to start to apply some pressure to my opponent. Going to be moving across the map now with these Mutalisks. Want to start applying pressure so that I can leave that base up and running so that he doesn't have a chance to move out. But as we can see, he's now moving out with a lot of Thors, lots of Hellions. I'm just going to scoot right around the back of his base and start to deal damage to his mineral line. As we can see, his natural is about the only base that's mining right now, as his main is pretty much mined out right now. He's got nothing going on there, and I'm going to start to pick off more workers here. And now I saw that there was one more missile turret there, and I knew that these workers would be able to get a good surround, so I pulled back my mutas there, pulling back some of the weak ones, but this is a big attack force now moving towards my third, but he's not paying attention to this orbital command, and I'm actually going to be able to pick off this orbital command, which is going to end up being a huge deal, because that is, of course, his only mining base right now, and the orbital command does end up going down, and a lot of workers were lost there for Paradox. In the meantime, he did move up, and I tried to pull my workers to try to save as many of my workers as I can. As you can see, I'm not producing any more mutas on the protection tab. These mutas are it. I'm using these mutas to keep my opponent contained, trying to deal as much damage as I can. But I really want to be producing a lot of roaches back home because I want to be able to deal with these high Thor numbers, and I want to keep him defending for as long as possible. As you can see, I'm trying to magic box these Thors for as long as I can, and as you can see, I'm doing quite a bit of damage here to these Thors. This is the way you want to deal with Thors. If you have to fight with mutas, it's not the best thing in the world, but I know that his Thors are still way up in this position. It's going to take them a long time to get across the map, so I need to deal as much damage as I can. As you can see, he's only down to 8 harvesters right now to the 44 that I have right now, but they are of course only going to be mining at this natural position, but I know he's not mining at all right now. These mutas, I'm going to continue to apply pressure, but I see that he's now starting to move into my main. Got a lot of roaches here to be able to deal with them. And as you can see, the Thors are starting to come back, so I'm waiting and waiting. I want to deal as much damage as possible, so I'm leaving these mutas in the main for as long as I can before pulling him back once he reaches my base, because I know that once I engage this force, I want every single unit that I have. Now pulling these mutalisks back, but a little bit of miscontrol by me, and I actually lose a lot of mutas there to these Thors as I end up going right over those Thors, but now the roaches are now out on the field. I have spread creep. I waited till they reached the end of creep, and then I moved in with all of my roaches. Now going to move in, try to get a good surround, and it looks like I do have the big advantage here as I'm going to be able to pick off all of these Thors. All the Thors are going to end up going down. Did lose all my mutas in that engagement, but these Thors, or these roaches, were able to pick off all of his Thors, and now going to be pulling back, going to be producing a few more mutalisks, because I wanted to be able to pick off that Banshee. Once I saw those Banshees in the mix, I started to worry that he might be producing a lot more Banshees, and I might need to get up some more air defenses as well as harassment ability. So I did start to produce some more mutas here. But in the meantime, more upgrades now going down here for me, as I knew pretty much at this point he was still only pinned to 2 bases. I knew he didn't have a whole lot of mining going on, so I could just right now go for a kill. I've got a good number of roaches, got some mutas up right now. I could just go for a kill. I didn't actually realize that I was up by this much. 118 food right now to the 28 food of my opponent. He's still only got 8 workers. He was not producing any workers that entire time, and I probably could have just pushed for the win here using those mutas to pick off that 1 siege tank. Those roaches could have easily taken these 2 Thors, but I decided to pull back, saw that siege tank on the high ground, and take 2 more bases. 2 more bases now being taken by me. I'm now feeling much more safe about my army size, and I'm feeling like he's not going to be able to get up a whole lot of Banshees that I won't be able to deal with. So I started to throw down 2 more hatcheries. You're actually going to see me start to get upgrades as well. And I said, you know what? I'm going to let you go ahead and start to get your economy up and running again, but I'm going to stay way ahead of you if I can. And as you can see, I'm now going to be getting double upgrades here on my evolution chambers, finally making use of those, getting that +2 missile attacks as well as that +1 ground carapace on the way. Burrow also coming up, all upgrades to enhance my roaches, just because I know that at this point, he can really only keep doing what he's doing. He's only got the tech up to continue doing exactly what he's doing right now. He can only continue to get up more Thors, maybe siege tanks if he wanted to, but I'm not too worried about siege tanks right now because my mutas are going to be able to handle that well, and he really doesn't have the infrastructure to get up a lot of Marines here very fast. So I'm going to continue to apply pressure. I've got a few more mutas up once again, and I'm going to try to apply pressure once more. Again, these mutas are not damage dealing mutas necessarily. They're going to do damage if I can actually get into his base and deal damage, but more than anything, they're just here to be aggressive and to keep applying pressure to my opponent so he doesn't attack me while I get up my economy. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing here. He's going to be pulling back these Thors. Once again, I'm trying to play very, very safe with these mutas. I don't want to lose these mutas. These mutas are what's keeping me alive right now and allowing me to tech up and get lots and lots of drones. As you can see, I'm just droning up very heavily right now on these 2 bases, keeping the mid control here with all of these roaches and scouting for bases right now. I knew I wanted to cut up here and make sure no bases are going down. If we check out my vision right now, as you can see, I'm trying to scout. Ooh, 1 more Banshee does come in here by Paradox, though, and he's going to start to pick off more drones, going to pull those drones off the line. I'm placing Overlords in positions to try to scout all of his bases. I did have some here, but I did lose them. He did attack them and kill them off, so I don't have any vision on those bases anymore. But I am going to be poking in there regularly with my Mutalisks to check and be sure that he's not taking those expansions, because that's exactly what I don't want right now. Now I'm going to be moving in, again, trying to focus down the factory and the tech lab because I want to cut down on his Thor production as much as possible. Saw that armory, decided, you know what, that's really going to cut down on his Thor production because these armories take a very, very long time to make, and now by taking out that armory, he has absolutely no Thor production, and now I'm going to be focusing down this factory to cut down even more on his Thor production, and now just going to be pulling out, and ooh, didn't quite pick off the factory, and went back to try to pick it off, didn't quite get it. Now going to just be pulling back, and again, I did not realize that I was this far ahead in the food count. 163 food to 77. I probably could have gone to just kill him at any point in time, but I really, really wanted to guarantee a win in the late game rather than go for a probable win at this point in the game. So I started to see him moving out with these Hellions, wanted to deny him too much scouting information, so I wanted to make sure that these Roaches were in position to take out those Hellions if they do decide to come up that ramp. Mutalisks again out on the field, produced a few more Mutalisks to get back up to that 16 Mutalisk count, and now I'm swinging back into full-on Roach production because I want to be able to deal with those Thors. Going for that, again, that same exact strategy of Mutalisks to apply pressure, Roaches to deal with the army. Just 16 Mutalisks to deal here, just to apply some pressure. And as you can see, that's exactly what I'm doing, trying to deal as much damage as I can, and now I am just going to be pulling back. Every time he comes out with his army, I just want to pull back. I don't want to overcommit to doing any damage. I did lose a little more mutas than I would have liked there, but as you can see, I'm getting very well saturated on these two bases, getting very happy about that. Once again, another Banshee coming in here, being very, very annoying, and all I've got down here is Roaches to be able to deal with that. That was enough to scare him for a little bit, but now my Mutalisks get down here, and I realize I thought I had built 2 spines and a spore at this location, but it turns out my spore ended up not going down, so I'm quickly trying to get down this Overseer, but as you can see, he's now moving out to go for a big attack here because he knows my army is out of position. He saw my Mutalisks and all my Roaches here, and I'm now trying to pull back my Roaches as fast as I can to try to deal with this. Hellions dashing up into my third, going to start to deal damage, but my Roaches are going to be able to finish those off. The Banshee finally does end up going down here, but there's a big attack force coming at my front. I decide to pull back because, I don't want to overcommit. I don't want to lose more than I have to, so I'm going to pull back until the full strength of my army is here, and here we go. Here comes the big engagement. Siege tank sieging up in the back. Nice siege tank spread there by Paradox, but the forces of Glitch are just too high right now, and I'm going to focus down this army pretty easily, even fighting in the choke, being okay with that right now, and now surging forward, and here comes, there's the GG out of Paradox. Glitch taking down those Terran players. Hope you guys enjoyed that game. That was such a terribly terribly played game by me that flip-flopped all over the place that really shouldn't have. He should have been able to finish me after he got all those worker kills. He should have really been applying more pressure and forcing more units out of me in the early game, and of course once I did all that damage, then I should have just really been applying more pressure and doing a lot more damage and going for that kill, but as you can see, I decided to play it safe, got that win anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed that cast. That was a fun day of casting some interesting games. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me play. Thank you guys for sending in those user-submitted replays. If you guys want to send in some more, feel free to do that. You can send them into glitchreplays@gmail.com, maybe at random. Whenever I get a good number of replays, then I will cast some more games for you guys. And yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm going to go watch MLG Providence right now. You guys go check it out as well. MLG Providence is going to be going on from Friday to Sunday, and it is going to be so epic. Go check it out, mlgpro.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. And once again, thank you guys, subscribers. The only reason I did all these user-submitted replays is because I got over 100 subscribers, and I am so excited to be there. Thank you guys so much again. Big, huge heart going out to you guys. Thank you guys so much. Glitch out.